delete that one, and live to fight another day. Erase roads. Oh boy, howdy. Welcome back to the Addicted Motors YouTube channel. My name is Troy. Let's talk about road trips. So, it's a beautiful fall day here in Virginia, and I am about to do one of my favorite activities. It's go on a long road trip with one of, well, let's try to pick a car. It should be an easy question for most car guys, but it's a tough one for me because there's a lot of criteria involved. And my wife asked me, am I more excited about the trip, like what we're gonna do, or how we're gonna get there? And not, just how we're gonna get there. I need to figure that out. I need to prep the things. Let's talk about it. So, going to South Carolina. I live in Richmond. So it's about 5-6 hour drive. We're going to be in the city of Charleston, park the car. It's going to be around. What do I bring? What is the ideal? No kids, so I can drive whatever I need to. But it's a city, so that automatically rules out a few of my cars. Car number one down, the truck. It's too big. Doesn't fit in the city. It will be fun. Cruise control works. Gets about 14, 15 miles per gallon. But it is kind of slow for the roads. North Carolina, South Carolina, when you go a little excessive on the speed. In second place, the elimination round is the D1. 5-speed, slow, mud tires, no cruise control, locks are so we're not really too concerned about taking that one. So that one is going right in the trash as far as this trip. As well as the Classic. It's not featured here, so, not a great idea. Not a great road trip car. Option 3 could be the 911. We could take a nice romantic trip down 95 but we can't do that because the 911 has been at the detailer for the past 3 or 4 weeks. I don't even know if I own it yet. I haven't even asked them for an update. It's not back. And I also don't want to street park that down in the city. So unfortunately, that one gets ruled out. It probably would have been the most fun to take. So what remains? The L322 Supercharge, the E36 325 IS, or the XJR. So spoiler, it's between those 3 vehicles, and I've spent the last 2 weeks prepping them, not all at once, but for different factors. Let's just run through the prep that I've had to do to just to make it on this trip. This is what happens when you're a car guy in this world and you just want things to work. So let's talk about the L322. So this had a pretty bad coolant leak coming out of one of the plastic hoses that clips into the thermostat housing. So that has been replaced. I also had the tires rebalanced for the millionth time, just due to some wobbles, and they're still just not how I want them. I hate these Lucky 8 or Terra Firma wheels. I mean, they're good, but for highway driving, they just don't balance right with these tires, and the ride on this thing is not great. It really bugs me. And also, so I've also played with the gap tool to lower the suspension enough to maybe improve miles per gallon so it rides, because it's got lifting rods in, so I wanted to ride in the height that it would be at an access mode while in lifting rod. So I've done that. It kind of worked, but it still left some to be desired. It gets a lot, like in this cooler weather, maybe it's winter gas blend, like 11 miles per gallon, maybe 15. It varies, especially with the rack on. It doesn't love the rack. That's probably a portion of it. And again, it's just kind of heavy, gets bad gas mileage, but it's the superior road trip car. Comfortable, a lot of space, but with the more aggressive tires and stuff, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be the one. So, I mean, what would you take? What would your choice be? Drop it in the comments. Again, it kind of depends on what type of driver you are, and what your driving style is. Again, I've got so many choices. Maybe that's the problem. They're all old, and they're all potentially broken, and they can all leave me stranded, which would piss myself off. I get a schedule to keep, I got people to meet, and bring in the wife. It's a lot of pressure, I guess. And the last choice is the Jag. And boy, this thing was hurting a little while ago. In one of my last videos, I changed the oil. I tried to do the transmission service, couldn't do that, but I have had that done. So I've got a new fluid, new filter, new pan. I also rotated the tires. I've also changed the accessory belt because there's a big old chunk taken out of it. So I've changed the accessory belt, shored up a few things underground, tweaked a few things, tightened a few things. I had a fuse out for the 12 volt power, so we fixed that. It still has a bit of a battery drain. So that's kind of a bummer. I've also haven't taken this on a road trip in years. So, you know, you buy these cars for road trip purposes and whatnot, and then you just don't ever do it. So that's why I want to do it. Let's do it again. So yeah, it's just been a lot of work to just maybe get out the door to do something that a normal person would have no thought about. They would just get in their car and go. They're more concerned with planning the trip, but I'm over here trying to change oil and put, you know, BG44 and stuff and go on test drives and make sure the tires are good and all the, you know, the lug nuts are tight from me messing with it. You know, it's like you have to, once you graduate from around the town car to a, we're going to take a 6-hour road trip car, it kind of ups the stakes a little bit. But I think it's going to be the Jag. Even with the battery drain, let's see what I'm bringing with me. So what am I going to be dealing with? Well, I don't fit amazingly in this car. I'm 6'1", 6'2". This doesn't ever have enough space for the most part. Cup holders are meh. I just screwed this phone holder in here, fixed the other thing. This little piece here keeps falling out, so I just pushed that back in, cleaned everything out. Check engine light has not come on for a while. I did some BG44 in the tank. I put some other oil additive in the oil. I've checked the coolant. Tighten the lug nuts, I did the tire pressures, got a tire pressure gauge, I got tools, I got a trunk with full of jump boxes and stuff because, again, it hasn't liked starting in the morning in this cooler weather, so I don't know, maybe something's draining it. I don't know what that is, but that's not what this video is about. We're going to hit the road tomorrow morning, and we're going to take it on the road trip, guys, and see what it does, because I don't know. This is not a planned video. I could either be on the side of the road like I was with my truck a little while ago from a blown power steering line, or it could be fine and we'll do some miles per gallon in road trip testing and whatnot. But I'm pretty excited. I haven't taken this out of the state in a while, and let's head south. All right, the first good news of the trip, the Jag started on the first turn of the key, so I guess the battery might have just been drained from just sitting in the cold for a while. So I let it sit overnight after driving around it. Held a charge, that's good news. So yeah, let's get out of here, honestly. I'll go over the setup in the car once we hit the road. So, first initial miles, first blood in the Jag, and things are feeling great. No restricted performance light yet, no check engine light yet. I did get it aligned, so it's tracking wonderfully. It really did need an alignment. I had got one a year or so ago, and it really made me realize that your car can go out of alignment very easily if you're not driving on great roads, so something to check. But it tracks dead straight, the steering feels much more balanced, and we are just wafting along. Again, it feels like, you know, I feel like I'm on a Harry Metcalf, like Harry's Garage little tour, because we're actually taking the car 6 or so hours, and I think I've picked the right tool for the job. You know, this is the automotive equivalent of a stiletto heel. It's not the most comfortable thing to walk around in, but you feel good when you're in there, and it looks good to everybody else, and it just feels a little special. So, you know, again, I picked a big grand tour to take a long, speedy journey down south, and again, totally not regretting that decision. So far, my fuel mileage, again, I've done a lot of idling, waiting for coffee and whatnot. I've already used a quarter tank, apparently, which I don't think is 100% accurate. I'm hoping to get at least 300 miles out of this tank, but we'll see. Instant fuel economy at around 75 is, I don't know, between 18 and 15. I need to reset the gauge, but I'm going to do it manually once we hit a gas stop. But other than that, things are flowing. So, you know, we did the right bit of prep, but it's still kind of up in the air whether that will all work in our favor and we'll make it, because, you know, that's what it's all about. You're just going to send it, and this car wasn't ready for this trip a little while ago, so we'll see.
Alright, so Troy asked what my impressions of the Jag were, and I'll say the first question I asked Troy when he was trying to figure out which car to take, because to him that was the most important question that we had to figure out before going on this journey. And I just really wanted a car that would make it there and back without breaking, and this apparently was, he gave it a 60% chance of survival, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, 40, 60, 30.
Which I don't really know what 40, 60, 30 means in his brain, but anyway, I just wanted to make it home, and compared to the other cars, this was the most reliable. It is smooth. He's currently really never worn a stiletto heel before because I don't think I would compare this car to that at all, really.
That's a compliment. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but it's great that the speakers work, so we can actually listen to music, which that's a big plus. Not all of the cars have working speakers. It's quiet, which is nice. Some of the other cars have had their mufflers removed and are quite noisy, and it doesn't always sound good to everybody. Like half the people in the car don't like the sound that it makes constantly when you're driving for a very long time. It's better on gas in theory, without kind of like the decision. It smells fine in here.
Yeah, I mean, you're just used to it by now.
It does kind of smell like a swimming pool.
But I am drinking coffee, so we'll see how long
I already finished my coffee. Catch up, bud. I think that's it. I don't know if I have any other thoughts. It's a car.
Jag Chat. So I posted in just a normal post on YouTube about this little emblem right below the tack on the speedometer. You can't see it right now because the lights are off, but it's two little arrows, which in other cars they kind of signify radar cruise control or proximity monitoring or something like that. And I did some research online, and again, I know this car doesn't have it, but why is the emblem there? So a lot of guys were saying that this was an option on the 04, 05 XKs, and again, maybe not so much on the NA spec cars, but it was an option, it was available mostly on the X350, but not really on the X308. But again, the emblems are there, so I don't know if it was some type of Ford branding, they had it, so why not add it to everything? And then there's a few guys in the comments that were saying that their 01 and 02s had it too. So obviously this car is not equipped with that kind of technology. It wasn't really available. I mean, Mercedes had it, and a few other manufacturers. Hell, I think even my mom's 03 something Sienna had radar cruise as an option. So again, obviously Ford Jaguar at the time, not so advanced, but again, had to squash that mystery because it had been sitting there. Other things going on. This is average miles per gallon. Again, it's 32 degrees. It doesn't look cool outside, but it is pretty chilly. The temp is actually running a little bit lower than half, which is nice, shoving all that cold air right to the intake. And we're in North Carolina, so we can run our radar detector. All the countermeasures are going, Waze, keeping it reasonable on the speed, but it just keeps getting quicker as we get towards South Carolina. You can kind of bump that needle up a little bit and make a little better time. So that's the Jag updates. Fuel gauge though has moved a lot. I think I've done 150 or so miles, and we're already at about a half a tank. I don't know how much I trust that. These gas tanks usually start getting more interesting towards the end. Oh, you reset that. I thought I saw the laser thing going off. But yeah, just burning down some miles. And it actually is pretty quiet in here. The only noise kind of coming from this driver pillar, where I think I had to, when I locked the keys in the car one time, I had to jimmy it open a little bit. So that's, that's part of I can bend it back a little bit, but that's the only air noise right now. All right, first gas stop, half a tank, Cindy had a pee. Let's see where we're at. Everything else seems okay, but so are you the kind of person though now if you're driving your shitbox somewhere, do you pop the hood and check everything halfway, or you just cross your fingers and hope for the best? I don't know what the best method is, but I think I'm not even gonna check anything, because if you check things go wrong. So drop in the comments, what do you do? Hello, restricted performance, my old friend. Well, I went to go that's probably, that pops on. I really think that's fuel related as far as pressurizing in the tank and blah, blah, blah. Hopefully that'll go away. If not, I will have to retighten things. Yeah, it's when I hit the gas pedal. Main throttle position sensor needs to be clean. Throttle body, it's a million things. But 23 miles per gallon, actually. So 162 miles, I put 7 gallons in. Not bad. That's actually really... Oh, and check engine light. What's going on? Well, I brought my tool. We're going to clear that before we go on. Yep, my favorite code, that little knock sensor that maybe has a wire loose or something. We are going to delete that one and live to fight another day. Erase codes. Goodbye, sir. Thank you very much. It was nice knowing you. All right, now you join me back in South Carolina, where the pace has quickened exponentially. It's like this kind of the 70, 80, 90 rule when you're making your way down south. I'd say that we're somewhere in South Carolina, and we're probably exceeding the speed limit slightly, but it's fine because 90 is the new 70 in South Carolina, and it's, you know, you're already getting passed by moms and white Tahoes and Suburbans and all kinds of stuff. So you just kind of have to keep up or shut up, and the Jag is just perfect at that. I'm going at a very brisk pace, averaging 21 miles per gallon, and it is absolutely delightful. And that is exactly what motoring in one of these is all about. It's you know, a little bit of risk, but a lot of reward as far as the experience. You know, zooming through the South, guys. This is why you buy these old cars, because every once in a while you get to take it out and stretch its legs. And stretch we shall. Alright, so that was the best stretch on 95. There is guardrails for about 4 or 5 miles, flanked by deep ditches, so nowhere for any law enforcement to hide. And yeah, the Jag was out there stretching its legs and passed an F-Pace R. Good times. That's what makes these trips more enjoyable. And I don't know, that makes me happy. So happy driving. And we're coasting down into central Charleston with that restricted performance light on, coming in just in time. As long as I don't rev over 3 grand, which is about 90 miles an hour if we're cruising, then I'm okay. So, not the end of the world, just gonna take it slow all the way in and hopefully just tighten up that gas cap and clean out that MAF sensor and get her back on the road. But we have made it successfully into, there's the Revenel Bridge, into the greater Charleston area. So if the car dies, it dies, because my brother lives down here and he's got plenty of other ship boxes we can borrow. So, mission accomplished.
Now pull hard. Pull hard. Straight back, straight.
Alright, so it's a couple days later and we're on our way back from Charleston. And you know what? The car did absolutely fine. You know, we put people in it, we drove around town. Didn't die, so I don't have a battery issue. Just checking my tires. Looks like to be wearing as fine as it was before. But yeah, we just used it as a normal car around town, parked it, never died, didn't do anything odd or embarrassing. Got a lot of different check engine lights. They came on, they came off. Restricted performance here and there, but nothing that wasn't either unexpected. Again, I like to live with my known evils in my car instead of having unknown things pop up. So let's reset the trip and keep on going. Still averaging over 20 miles per gallon, which is pretty good. And just like that, we agree with our halftime check engine light. Hasn't been on for the last 250 miles, but has joined us again on the trip. Thank you for checking back in and ensuring that it's working. Well, you joined me back in restricted performance hell. It's been popping on and off, as you see there. And you know, the issue, it's probably restricted performance in these Jags. It doesn't clue you into what exactly it is. You know, it could be throttle position sensor, throttle body, the pressure of the tank. It could be like a slight, you know, suction issue on the gas cap. Like right now it's fine, but then it just keeps popping. Every time I try to merge or pick up speed, I just have to keep the revs below 3,000. So it's just this constant game of, you know, monitoring the dash to keep pace going through the states here. So yeah, we're playing games with the Jag. This is just normal things, and it doesn't restrict you from driving, but it does put you in situations where you can't merge or get out of the way or do something if you have to, since you're limited RPM wise. So yeah, I can't really. There's no reason for it to replicate. It comes and goes, but when it does, you just have to drive around it. So the Jag-tastic voyage has intensified. I've now lost what seems to be my blower motor function. It's on, but it's not really blowing anything, so that's new. Also lost a lot of the speaker functions on the left side of the vehicle, so kind of a bit of a stroke the car might have had at some point, but I'm sure a quick hard reset might do that. And there goes strict performance. It really only comes on when I need to make a pass or something, so it's been very wonderful driving around that. But also, yeah, we'll see what else starts to fail on this wonderful Sunday trip. No better place you'd rather be, right? Also did a slightly more brake dust buildup on this side. Hopefully that doesn't really mean anything. Yeah, let's see what we're greeted with. System check. Don't check the system. But we are going to clear the check engine light. It's like giving the car some Advil, and yeah, clear that out. All right, so we made it back, and let's wrap this one up. Over 900 miles covered in the Jag, between 75 and let's say upwards of 90 miles an hour. Sometimes on the highway, around 20 miles per gallon, which really isn't bad. Just mixed traffic in the city, lots of check engine lights. Again, that's still the same. Position sensor, cam, something sensor. This one below the supercharger, it's I can't get to it, so that's not happening. It's fine, it needs to be clear. The wire's probably a little goofy. And lots of restricted performance issues. That had went away for a very long time with the new gas cap, and it has since returned. So that could be me. I did mess with some of the things up there, so I'm going to take it all apart as far as the intake, throttle body, and all that. Clean it all out. Maybe that'll give it a little more stability and make it less jumpy and unpredictable, because it is quite annoying. But overall, again, it's a beautiful car. And it's awesome to take a car like this and do what it was intended to do, as a long journey saloon rocket ship, basically just coasting down the interstate or the highway, and it with relative comfort and power. I mean, that's what it all comes down to. Didn't get terrible gas mileage, so that made it more usable. So again, it took a little bit of prep, but it wasn't too scary if you've got an old car like this. Which again, it is old. It's 20 years old. If you use it properly and you maintain it and you keep up with things and kind of monitor things. Again, I didn't have to add any fluids, and all the fixes that I did, no issues with the belt change or anything else. The alignment was good. Tires, it was all fine. So I wouldn't let things dissuade you as long as you can stay on top of it.